examples, like some of the courses which are offered in CSG program are Intro to Cinema, Philosophy, Literature, and more. So this is not, at first glance, you might think this is just social science that we have done in school, but this is not that. CSG offers a different perspective. It is looking at, it is basically an intersection of computer science and social sciences. To put this into perspective, I'll give an example of my research. My research focuses on gender studies. So I look at how computational tools are effective in gender studies. And in addition to that, we have other students who are working on language and what different communities, how different communities interact with social media data. This is all about my journey, research journey in IIITH. But talking about my campus life, I've been a part of the dance group, which organizes inter-college dance competitions annually. I've also been a part of the Cultural Council. I'm a part of APEX and the Diversity Committee. To elaborate more on APEX, APEX is a student body of 16 students where we mainly aim to make sure that the first year students have a smooth transitioning into the college environment. We take up issues and all the queries that their parents might have, and we make sure that their journey on campus is a memorable one. That's all about CSD. Now I call upon Shrija to talk about her program.
Hello, everyone. I'm Shrija Mukhopadhyay. I'm a second-year dual degree student enrolled in Computational Linguistics dual degree, which is also commonly known as CLD. To explain what it is all about in brief, it involves things such as language processing, understanding how language, not only how language works, but trying to model it with the help of computers. And so right now, say we are very entertained by ChatGPT and its users and things like that. And all of these work with the help of language models, which is something that we explore and we learn about, we improve in a course, in a research field like computational linguistics and natural language processing. It also involves things such as machine translation and trying to, especially in IIIT, we try to work for low resource languages, and we have a special concentration on Indian languages because that is something that does not get a lot of focus in other places. So I'm not really associated with any lab yet because I'm still in my second year. So I'm in the process of finding out more about the labs in campus where I can like join, and I'm talking to advisors in order to figure out what I would like to do for my research work. While I'm also taking a lot of courses which will help me build the foundation, like an introduction to natural language processing or introduction to linguistics. In addition to that, apart from academics, I am also a co-coordinator of the open source developers group in our campus, and I've also been a part of the entrepreneurship shop. So.
Thank you, Shrija. Now we have Aditya, who is in the CND program.
Hello, everyone. I'm a sixth-year student at IIIT. I started my degree in 2017, and I am enrolled in CND program, which stands for Computational Natural Sciences. So it's a dual degree in BTech in Computer Science and MS by Research in Computational Natural Sciences. So Computational Natural Sciences is basically the application of computer science to natural sciences, things like physics, chemistry, and biology, which we study in school also, right? And the kind of research we do is basically think about any place you can apply computational tools at. You can do things like data analysis on large physics experiments. You can do analysis in biological systems, modeling chemical systems, things like those. So those are the kind of research that usually happen in CND, among others. Currently, I am working as a software engineer. I have submitted my thesis and I'm just pending defense. So I will be finishing my degree very soon. Apart from this, in college, I was a part of the entrepreneurship cell. I was also the organizing committee of Felicity, the college fest. And I was also the head of the literary club, we call it. And yeah, apart from this, I like to read a lot, like about literally anything under the sun. I like to practice various forms of martial arts and also travel a lot. So, and any questions you might have, I will take them up soon.
Thank you, Aditya. Now we have Bharat, who is a CSG student.
Hello everyone, I am Bharati Ramana. Please call me Bharat. I am a fifth year computer science dual degree student at IIIT Hyderabad. I joined IIIT Hyderabad through the lateral entry mode, so I can answer any questions you may have about that as well. So, as a computer science dual degree student at IIIT Hyderabad, um, uh, in addition to the coursework, I have to do research in computer science. So, what are all the some fields that people work here in computer science are um, artificial intelligence, of course, which is very popular right now. And in addition to that, we also have signal processing, and we also have some theory side subjects such as quantum computing, cryptography, etc. And we also have applied stuff such as computer systems or embedded systems and so on. Personally, I work on programming languages, and that is what I have done for my master's thesis.
Thank you, Bharat. Now we're open to taking any questions that all of you might have.
We have one question, which is, how does research work exactly in these programs? Do you start in the first year itself? I'll talk a bit about it and then you all can answer it as well. So for us, for the first 2 years, you usually take foundational courses related to your degree. At least in CLD, I had courses like Introduction to Linguistics, Computational Linguistics, Language and Society. I'm currently taking a course called Introduction to Natural Language Processing. So you kind of learn the basic foundation for all of these, and these are courses you take along with the normal computer science courses like data structures and all of that. And after that, after second year, you kind of start looking for a lab, you start talking to advisors and figure out what you want to do. So that's how usually the general flow of research is over here. Would anyone of you want to add something?
No, I'm good. So the next question is, can you take physics, chemistry, and other science courses? Like we've mentioned before, from our third year, we can choose electives. In the first 2 years, you have core courses similar to the ones the other BTech students have. From your third year, you can choose electives, and those electives can be depends on your program. It could be an open elective, and you could also have to choose some science electives. So I think if you're being CND specific, Aditya can elaborate more on that.
Yeah, so things are different for CND and non-CND students. So if you're a CND student, then you have compulsory science courses that you have to take. It is a part of your curriculum. So for any dual degree course, the course structure goes like you have your courses that you have to do for your BTech. And then there are some additional courses that you have to do, which also contribute towards your credit for both BTech and Masters, right? And those courses are designed to help you with your research in the future. So like there are courses on whatever you could potentially be working on in the future. So for CNE students, they will be working on natural sciences. Therefore, there are physics, chemistry, and biology courses that you have to take. For non-CNE students, for them also there are two, I think, compulsory science electives that you have to take. This is a government mandate actually. So it's like, yeah, like every college has something like this. So here also it is a part of the curriculum. You have to pick some science electives, but the electives that you pick are up to you. So like these are electives in the sense that after the first two compulsory science course that you have done with, you can pick whatever course you want to pick there.
There is something I'd like to add as well. So in IIIT, what I've noticed from is different from other colleges that my friends go to is you can always go and sit in any class you want. No professor will object to that. So if there is some course you find interesting, you can just go sit there and listen to the lectures.
Thank you for the answers. So the next question we have is, what job opportunities are there for dual degree students? I'll let Aditya take this one.
Okay, so there are multiple channels. So first of all, dual degree students are also allowed to sit in placements in their fifth year. So you could sit in placements along with the BTech students and apply for almost the same set of companies that those people get to apply for. The difference being that there are some companies that prefer hiring dual degree students because you might have some work experience or some research experience in a particular field that the company wants to hire in. So suppose if they want somebody for building an AI model for a particular task, then that company would prefer somebody who has worked on a similar model during their research. So things like these happen, and then you can apply for jobs outside the campus also, like the way other people do. And apart from this, there are also a bunch of research assistantship or research fellowship roles that are open to dual degree students. So because you have some research experience, you qualify to apply for them. And these are not hard and fast rules; these are just general statements. So like you would be preferred on position for positions like that because you have prior experience. Like these require that you have some prior experience, so you have some prior research experience, so you can apply for roles like these. Various research labs hire for things like these, where various companies hire for things like these, and that is an advantage that dual degree students have that BTech students don't have, unless you have done some research with your BTech also. I'm sure we can talk about it later also.
Thank you, Aditya. The next question is, what is the social life like on IIIT campus? So I'll talk about all the clubs that we have on campus. I won't talk about all of them, but I'll give you a brief introduction to what we have on campus. So firstly, we have a clubs council that manages all the clubs that we have. And every time you feel that you have a different interest and there's not a club for that, you can always start that club. You can call the other people who are interested in that, and you can start your own club. So recently we started the fashion club, where we have ramp walks during our fest Felicity, like Aditya mentioned. So we also have other clubs like ECell, we have the dance crew, we have the music club, and we also have the debate club. So we do have a lot of clubs, and I think if Shrija wants to add more, since she's a second year student, she's still handling all of those clubs.
Yeah, so I think like the social life is actually pretty good because so as Dhruvi just mentioned, there are quite a lot of clubs, and especially during times like Felicity or times like this, you usually have like events piled up to an extent that you are choosing between events. In addition to that, what I really like is like there is sort of a constant flow of events. Like there are music events happening every 3 months or every 2 months, and people come in and participate, and there's like house activities happening and sports stuff happening as well. So a lot of things to do in general. And in addition to that, apart from like if you manage your time well, it's like because you can go outside and have fun as well. And so it's overall really nice, and if you balance it well, it works out really well for us. I'll also yeah go on.
Sorry, I would like to add that the apart from clubs, also there are various activities happening throughout the year on campus that you can be a part of. Like there are some events that are not organized by clubs, but yesterday I think there was a musical performance that happened, and there are various. So I remember during my second year there used to be book discussion uh, events that used to happen, and the campus is open, so you can go out at any time if you find something interesting happening. The campus is at the heart of the city, right? So like it's at the main one of the major locations in Hyderabad. So everything is very accessible. You get to meet a lot of people on campus, outside campus. There are a lot of people visiting the campus very often. So like social life is generally very good. There are a lot of canteens, and they will always be filled with people. Like there's a juice canteen where I have never seen no people. So like anytime you want to socialize with somebody, you can just go there and you can count on it that you will find people there. There's a library. There's an area called working labs where people just sit and work together. Like if you want to study in a group or something like that. So yeah, like even apart from clubs are there obviously, and I'm pretty sure that we have not named all of them. But yeah, apart from that, also there's a lot of things happening all the time on campus. Like this is one reason I liked the college a lot. I got to meet some very amazing people, and yeah, I don't think I would have anywhere else.
Yeah, I mean, like going to DLF at 3 a.m. and meeting people and learning, randomly starting talking about research is also something that I've heard happens a lot, and people have come across people like that as well. So it's really fun it's really fun meeting new people as well. Thank you, Aditya, for your inputs as well. The next question is, how can we prepare for UGEE? I mean, is there any book for practicing questions and concepts? Aditya, do you want to?
Yeah, so I can actually paste a link which has all the information regarding this. So I think you can look that up because the question format and all these are defined on the website. So you can just go there and check. And if you have any other queries, you can write to an email address that I've also mentioned in my response. So I think that is a better source than like us for questions like these.
Thank you, Aditya. The next question is, I heard that there are some special efforts for girls applying. Is this true? So yes, this is true. So specifically for UGEE girls applying, we have reduced the application fee by 50%. And also we have increased the number of girl intake to our interviews. And along with that, I think Aditya can again share a link discussing how the other efforts that we have put in for UGEE girls.
You've already sharing those and the answer.
Thank you, Aditya.
So the email address is ugadmissions@IIIT.ac.in and the website link is ugadmissions.IIIT.ac.in/UGEE 2023. So this is for people who have joined on YouTube and don't have access to the chat box. These are the website and email address that you can contact for more information about this.
Thanks a lot, Aditya, again. So we have a few more questions about UGEE. I think Aditya has already shared the resources, and if you have any doubts, you can just feel free to reach out to the email address provided as well, and we'll try our best to help you out. The next question is it possible to finish 2 degrees in 5 years? Bharat, do you want to maybe answer that?
Sure. So it is possible, and I can say I am about to finish my bachelor's and my master's degree in 5 years. I'm a 5th-year student, and I'm in the process of submitting my master's dissertation. The only thing you have to make sure is that you balance your time between coursework, extracurriculars, and research. Because unless you do research, yeah, you need to invest a good amount of time in research if you want to graduate in 5 years. So as long as you balance them, you should be able to do it.
Thank you, Bharat. The next question is, what's the admission process and criteria for NRI candidate into IIIT? Is it only SAT score and also when the process gets triggered? So it's SAT score, it's both the SAT scores. So SAT 1 and SAT 2, you have to write both of these SATs. And along with that, to be called an NRI candidate, you should either be someone of an other nationality, or you should have lived for the past 2 years in some another country. I think Aditya, I request Aditya to share. I think he's already shared the email address of the email addresses. You can always contact them and find out more information regarding the admission process.
Yeah, so UG admissions at IIIT.ac.in, the same email address that I shared before, you can email them and they would share the process with you.
Thank you, Aditya.
So the next question is, what sort of hostel facilities does IIIT have? Is it compulsory to stay on campus? I happen to be in my hostel right now while we are doing this AMA. So the hostel has all like the basic facilities you need, like proper washrooms and common areas as well. There is a gym where people go to. There are canteens everywhere, this mess and all of that. It is actually compulsory to stay on campus unless you take special permission. But that is, I think, dealt with in a case-to-case basis. Would any one of you want to add anything to this?
I think you've covered it all. So the next question is, please share more information on CHD, computing and human sciences. So CHD, since you haven't written what specifically you're looking for, I'll just give you a broad overview. So basically, we have professors from every background. Like I've said, we are taught philosophy, we are taught literature. We also have a professor in economics. We have courses like migrants and migrations in modern South Asia. So, and we also have courses on ethics and in our first year, we have this core course where we learn about sociology, anthropology, and making of contemporary world. So there are a lot of courses, and we also have courses that are specific to research, that is research in human sciences. And all of this together, all of your core courses and your electives. In electives, you also have electives on gender studies, and we have intro to cinema, film studies, popular culture. So all of this together helps you understand what you're specifically interested in. So students of CHD, they work in the SHRG lab, that is Human Sciences Research Group, and you can choose the prof that your interest most aligns with. My advisor is Professor Nazia Akhtar, and we work on basically like I've mentioned, my work is basically on gender studies. And I have friends who are working on existential philosophy. I have other friends who are working on, political parties and how they communicate with the general population using social media. So there's a lot of scope. You can work with you can, if you're more interested in the computer science area than you are in social sciences, but you should always remember that doing social sciences gives you a new perspective. You look at biases in softwares that you never thought about before. You look at usability and the design of digital products. You realize why UI UX is important. There are a lot of courses, and all of these courses help you truly understand the products and what you're working with. I hope that answers your question.
Thank you so much, Suvi. The next question is, what do you like about research? Is it worth to do research? I'll let all three of you pretty much take it one by one, maybe. So, Dhruvi, maybe.
Okay.
Okay. Aditya.
Oh, sure. Yeah, I would deadlock. I'll let Dhruvi take it, I guess. And
okay, thank you. So what do you like about research? Is it worth it to do research? To be honest, when I first came to college, I wasn't sure if I was into research. Then I started doing it, and I've realized that I'm very excited every time I do this work. I'm very excited because research has made me learn a lot. It's given me a lot of knowledge. You after reading a lot of papers and basically reading papers and doing things on your own, you find out new things. And I've learned how to analyze better. I've learned a lot of things, and I think I'm mentioning this the third time that I'm working on gender studies, and I never thought I'd be working in this field. And the fact that I'm actually working on this and I'm understanding so much more than I thought, that I had never imagined that I would be learning so much about, communities that are marginalized on the basis of sexual identities. And the fact that I'm doing it now and I'm using computational tools to analyze them, it has really interested me. So yes, I think it is worth it to do research. Aditya, do you want to go next?
Okay, so like I personally I thought that I liked doing research. Back then, I did not really know what research is, but again, I thought that I knew what research is, and I thought that I liked it. I started, and my interest shifted drastically, based on the courses that I took and the people I talked to, and then I ended up doing research in a completely different field from what I intended. So I intended to do something in computational biology, but I ended up doing quantum computing instead because I just happened to like it a lot more in my second year. And I think that, I mean, so I personally like it. It depends on the person. I would say, see, like, what is your nature? Like, what are you interested in? If you want to continue, like, so research is all about diving deep into some specific topic, right? So it takes a lot of time, effort, and energy to do it. But at the same time, I don't feel like I'm spending that much time, effort, and energy into doing it. I could be working in the lab for 8 hours straight, and there are days that I actually did that, and I did not really feel anything. Like, I did not feel fatigue or whatever. The reason was I enjoyed what I was reading, I enjoyed what I was writing, and things like that. There are times when it can be very hard because, like, again, if you enter into a program like this, you will realize that, okay, our life is very hard, but this is also fun, and this is something that I would prefer doing over other options that I have had from time to time. I also did a research intern in my third year at University of Calgary, and I really liked the project I was doing there also. So yeah, like, I have like decent enough exposure to say that I think that, yeah, research is very much worthwhile doing. Bharti, would you like to add anything?
Yeah, sure. So for your first question, what I like about research, there are, I think, two things that I personally enjoy the most about research. The first one is when you do research, um, uh, because you're discovering or inventing something new, there is a point at which you're the only person in the world who has created something, and it's a very exciting moment to be able to share this new thing that you've created with the world. That is the thing I enjoy the most. And there's one more thing, which is, of course, you're learning new things. You're learning what other people are working on. You're on the cutting edge of the field. So I think these are the two things that I like the most about research. And for your second question, is it worth doing research? I think that's a personal question, and that and yeah, there is no yes or no answer to that. You have to figure out if you enjoy doing research.
So I actually also want to add something that, like, research gives you a lot of freedom also. So uh, it really depends on case to case basis, but usually research gives you a lot more freedom to explore things that you want to. I can pick what questions I want to work on. I can pick what field I want to work on, and things like those. I can pick what questions I want to answer, and what things, like, what tools I want to use to do a certain thing. And again, like, this depends on the people who are taking this up, but I personally like it a lot because I like learning new things. I like tweaking existing things and seeing, like, varying parameters and seeing how things work, like this or like that, and all those things. So it gives me a lot of time to play with random things, learn random concepts that probably would never be useful in life, but again, they are interesting to do, so why not? And I don't think that a software engineering or any other job usually would give opportunities like that. Like, there are jobs that give me opportunities like that also. I mean, I've seen those also, but research career are a lot more flexible. And as a bonus, you can take a lot of time off. Like, you can go on long vacations because you're just visiting a different country or different university or something like that. And those are really great. You get to meet a lot of amazing people at conferences and yeah, paper submissions, paper publications, and things like that. So, like, yeah, life is good, I would say. Again, is it for you or not? That is for you to decide.
Thank you, Aditya. So the next question is, can you please elaborate on minimum qualification marks for the paper pattern of REAP? So I think Aditya has already shared the link and also the email addresses of people you can contact to know more about the UGEE program. So if you answer them anything, and the link will provide you with all of the details. In case you do not find your detail over there, you can always contact them and you will get the reply in probably a day. So I think that should be clear now. The next question is, can you give some examples of the kinds of projects you did? How long does it take to do one project? I think, Bharat, do you want to take that question?
Sure. So in research, the projects are usually open-ended. Um, One of the things that my advisor keeps telling me is a project is never finished, it's only abandoned. So it's up to you how far you want to push it. There's no strict deadline per se.
Would someone like to share the different research projects that they have done?
So I can give okay, so yeah, I can try and explain something. So in my thesis, I worked on quantum algorithms. So basically, like you have computers in front of you, right? It could be a laptop or an iPad or something like that, and they are running some algorithms. So like anything that you want your computer to do, you have to also tell it how to do it, or somebody else has to tell it how to do it. So how you do that is what is an algorithm. You give it an algorithm, and that is how you tell the computer that okay, this is how I would like a certain action to be performed. And there are different kinds of computer that people are now trying to build, which are called quantum computers. There's a lot of buzz around it, and if you Google, you will probably find something interesting, and you might want to read that. But yeah, like that, those are completely different kinds of computers from the ones that you have in front of you, and they run algorithms which are very different from classical algorithms, the ones that run on current generation's computer. And I worked on algorithms for those sorts of computers. Basically, they require a basic knowledge of quantum physics, and they require basic knowledge of combinatorics, like basically like basic math that you do in 11th and 12th, but a small extension of it. And yeah, you tell, like you give a framework on how to do something, and then you prove things related to it. You say how fast your algorithm is, you say how robust your algorithm is, things like those. So that is what my, like one of the projects involved. I've also done like just study projects where I just read existing theories. Like I read about a completely different kind of computational model and various algorithms on that sort of a model. And I think Bharat can also share his project, and maybe that would give. So like there is a large amount of, like there's a huge breadth in the kind of projects that you'll see people doing, and one project can never give you all the ideas. So yeah, I think you can go to the website and look at some things that people are doing also. So for example, most centers would have recent publications and things like that. That would also be helpful in determining what you would like to work on and what degree you want to enroll for. No, that's it for me.
Thank you so much, Aditya. I'm curious here. So the next question is, can you join any research lab you want? I think that depends from degree to degree. So I'll answer for CLD, where usually you join the LTRC, which is the Language Technology Research Center, and there are different labs like MTNLP or a speech processing lab or information retrieval lab there. Apart from that, we also have students from CLD joining other labs such as the computer vision lab or the precog lab, depending on the main focus is ensuring that they do end up working on natural language processing or computational linguistic work in those places as well. Apart from that, I think all of you can take it one by one and maybe answer for your respective labs. So, Ruby.
So in CHD, it is mandatory for you to join the SHRG lab, which is the Human Sciences Research Group. And you almost always find someone who's working in the same field of interest like you. So it's never an issue. Bharat, would you like to answer for CSD?
Sure. I think for CSD, you can work with any prof you want. There are no restrictions as long as you can convince the prof. Aditya?
So for CND, you generally join the lab called CCNSB, which is Center for Computational Natural Sciences and Bioinformatics. And so again, I'm a 6th-year student, so it might be ancient knowledge, but yeah, that is the lab that you have to work with. And projects, so it depends on which prof and which field you want to work on. So there are people who can give you their own projects. There are people that you can go to and say that, okay, this is a specific direction I would like to work on, and you can together decide on something and start working on that. So it is fairly flexible, I would say.
Thank you, everyone. The next question is research mandatory in dual degree? So yes, research is mandatory in dual degree. You usually start working on it from your third year. You meet your advisors in your third year. There are students who have also started it in their first year and they've completed their degrees, like they've completed their research papers by their fourth year. But yeah, it is mandatory. Does someone else want to add anything? Okay, fine. We can move to the next question then.
The next question is, are there courses in other things like arts and literature or music, or is it all core engineering courses? So we do have quite a few non-engineering courses. We do have art courses, like compulsory art courses, where you either get to choose between dance or sculpture or painting, collage, and all of that. Apart from that, we have courses in social sciences and uh, like compulsory courses in social sciences as well, in addition to other courses. So we have quite a few courses, and you get to choose. Later you get electives where you are free to explore and find out what you like. And as Perth once mentioned, that you can pretty much go in any class and just, if the topic interests you, can just sit there and like gain knowledge from that as well. So there are quite a few options for you apart from just the core engineering courses. Would anyone else like to add anything?
Yeah, I would like to add something here. So, literature has always been an interest of mine. So, even though I am a CSD student, I have taken multiple electives in literature, and I think that was something I benefited from at Triple IT. The Triple IT, the flexibility in the course curriculum.
So I can add that there is something called an independent study you can pick. So you're allowed to replace some course credit with independent study. And so what I was used to do was, like, there are things that I did not that did not offer courses for directly in my year in which I wanted to take them. So I just replaced those courses with independent study. So I went to a professor who was also interested in similar things. I said that I wanted to take an independent study in it and read something, and they allowed me to do it. And that's what we did for one course in the whole semester. And that was really nice because there are some restrictions as to, like, obviously there are some restrictions as to what you can do with it, but generally they would allow you to pick up anything that you want which is not formally offered in triple IT, and study them along with some professor.
Thank you, Aditya. The next question is, and what about attendance criteria? So we have 85% attendance. So that means you can only miss 4 classes in each of your courses. But again, if it's some emergency, some family emergency, or if you were sick, you can always apply for student leave on the IMS portal, which is the student portal, and it is usually approved. Yeah.
Sorry for the interruption. So I just want to mention that it seems like if I add an answer on the chat box here, it does not go to everyone. So what I'll do is I'll just comment the links that I'm pasting here onto the YouTube as well, and people can, like, I'll do that after the webinar, and people can go ahead and check that out there.
Thank you so much, Aditya. So the next question is your campus safe for girls? I think the campus is really safe for girls. There has, like, I've been here for 2 years. There has never been an issue that, like, or a moment when I felt that I was unsafe or I did not feel good with my surroundings. There are committees in the campus as well. So if anything does happen, that if things go wrong, you can go to, like, approach those committees, as Ruby once mentioned that she is a part of the gender diversity committee as well. So she can probably add to that. But in addition to just the campus being safe, it's also the fact that Hyderabad as a city is really safe as well. So, and because the campus also has just one entry and exit and everything is monitored. So it is really an environment where you do feel really safe, especially if you're a girl. Ruby, do you want to add something to this?
Yeah, just that like Shrija mentioned that we have two gender committees. So they're not just specific to girls. Anyone and everyone who has an issue can go to these committees, and they are very discreet, and your issue is always gets solved. So yeah, it's very safe. And like she mentioned, our college is in the heart of the city. We are never in an we are so we are never in an isolated area, and there's only one entry and exit, which is very safe for girls. And we also have to do biometric before we leave and after we come in. So the college also always has a record that you've gone out or you have come in. So the next question is, how much Triple IT Hyderabad encourages entrepreneurship? I think Aditya, since you've mentioned you've been in ECEL, you can talk more about it.
Okay, so ECEL is basically the entrepreneurship cell of Triple IT Hyderabad, and they organize programs fairly frequently around entrepreneurship, and there is something called startup aid where they offer like opportunities for students to pitch their ideas to investors and get funding, things like those. So this is specific to what entrepreneurship cell does, and I can add that while I was there, I think it was one of the best entrepreneurship cells in any campus on India. I think after like IIT Mumbai or something like that. And apart from that, also we have a center for we have a lab called CIE, Center for Intelligence and Entrepreneurship. I think I might be wrong on the acronym here. And so there also they have a facility that if you have come up with something and if you want to start a company around that product, you can go to them and they also give you some seed funding, and you can they also give you an office space right in the campus and things like those. So Triple IT does encourage entrepreneurship a lot. I think now there are professors who are offering courses around the idea as well, and there are a lot of events where you get to interact with a lot of people who are potentially investors in things that you want to come up with. So in and all, it is a pretty nurturing environment. Like if you can come up with something, then yeah, you're good, I guess.
Thank you so much, Aditya. The next question is, if I want to apply for the dual degree, the admission would be done via UGEE or JEE Main. So for the dual degree program, there are quite a few modes of admission, the primary one being the UGEE mode. So through JEE Main, you usually join the single degree BTech programs. But apart from UGEE, there are, as I mentioned, other modes. So I joined through an Olympiad. There is also like KVPY and lateral entry for it as well, in addition to like I think some DASA categories as well. So the primary one is UGEE, but then there are different modes as well. The next question is, how hard is UGEE written exam? Aditya, do you want to again redirect them to the same link?
Yeah, so for this and the previous question, again, you will find information on the website and on the email. Like we cannot give the latest information about it because it's been 6 years since I was in campus. Right? And I think that is the best idea because there you'll also find information regarding the specific courses, like specific programs, not just one. So that'll help you more.
The next question is, do companies prefer branch-wise or CGPA while placements? Since Aditya has already sat through placements, he can give us more information about it.
Okay, it depends on company to company, and like usually there is no cutoff. Like they do a coding round before, so they have some basics. So this is for most companies, not all companies. Whatever I say applies for most companies. Okay, and there is usually a basic CG cutoff which is very low, around 7.58. And from like if you're above that, then you sit for their coding exams, and then if you qualify, then you sit for interviews, things like those. So and there are companies which have very strict CG cutoffs. There are companies that have no CG cutoffs. Talking about branch-wise, there are companies that only allow people from a specific branch to sit for their interviews. That again boils down to the experience that you have had. So like some courses, for example, EC students will have courses around electronic circuits and things like those. And if there is a electronics company coming for placement, they would obviously prefer those. Similarly, there are companies that would prefer a dual degree student because they might have relevant course or research experience in a particular field. Coming to the exact question, prefer branch wise or CGP wise, there is no answer to this. It depends on which company you're talking about, and it depends on which year you're talking about. Like these are very dynamic, and like policies change year to year. And that's it for me. I want to add something. So there was a previous question that asked if we are allowed how are we allowed to enter into research programs. So JEE Mains is not considered for UGEE admissions at all. Okay, and like JEE Mains is only for the single degree admissions, and that is a separate admission rate.
Thank you so much, Aditya. The next question is, how many seats are available for boys in general category? I think Aditya can again redirect people to the required links.
Again, so any question related to statistics, they are available on the website. We don't remember them, so please consult that.
Okay. What will the questions be like in the interview? So I joined, as I mentioned, I joined through Olympiad mode, but I also did go through an interview process to get into the college degree. And so for me, the interview is usually sort of, in my opinion, a fun interview where it feels more like a discussion you're having with a few panelists, and you're just, so the questions are mostly sort of like puzzle solving, where you are not using direct textbook knowledge, but it's more about like being able to think out loud and come up with it, like solutions to things that you do not usually learn in a normal, say, MCQ styles problem solving thing. Would any one of you want to add anything to this?
I think we can move to the next question then. Are we allowed to work part-time? So in your first and second year, you wouldn't have the time to work part-time because you'll have a lot of courses. You'll have to focus on learning, the core courses like CPRO, DSA, and all of those are pretty important courses, and you wouldn't get time to work part-time. So I don't think, but we would advise you not to do that, since it would be better if you focus on your college courses. I think Aditya and Bharat would like to elaborate more on that.
From the formal point of view, like the committee point of view, I think it depends on who your advisor is, who you are working with. So if you're a single degree student, then you have no restrictions. If you have time apart from your courses, feel free to use that time for whatever you want to do. Does not matter. If you are a dual degree student, then you, in certain cases, have to take permission from your advisor to work part-time. And it depends on if you are allowed and what you're working on and stuff like that. So in my case, I did do some part-time work sometimes on and off. But again, like it should not hamper your research, because like I had to graduate in 5 years. I submitted my thesis in 5 years and 1 semester, like 5.1 semester. So you need more time towards the end of your degree to work on your research. So probably not a good idea to do it. But yeah, there are people who I've seen manage both very well also.
To add on to what Aditya said, yeah, if you can manage your time, then you can go with it. You can do part-time work, but usually, from what I've seen, people the coursework engages people enough that they don't have time to do part-time work. Other than that, once you're a third year or fourth year or fifth year student, you can also do TAships for courses, which is an official role offered by the institute as a part-time job.
Yeah.
There are also RA shifts. So certain students, like fifth year students, get RA shifts. For example, in my fifth year, I was paid by my advisor and by the lab for the research work that I was doing, and that is also a paid position. And similarly, TS shift that Bharat already mentioned. Both of these are paid positions that the college offers, and you can do part time with your coursework.
Yeah, as Aditya and Bharat both mentioned, there are quite a few opportunities of like getting sort of jobs in college itself, and that can be really helpful apart from the normal part-time jobs. The next question is, after dual degree, one can go directly for PhD, or can they go for MS as well in the US? Aditya, Bharat, I think either of you can take this because you're close to completing your degree.
Okay. So, from what I know, certain universities in US do not allow a second master's degree, and certain do. So it becomes a question of university to university. But if the university allows for a second master's degree, then you can always apply. And yeah, PhD you can of course go. PhD you can always go, irrespective of whether you're a dual degree student or just a bachelor's student.
Okay, thank you, Bharat. The next question
Yeah, I
is,
have nothing to add. That is exactly correct.
would you like to add something, Aditya?
No, I think there's a lag on my end. Sorry.
Okay. Yeah. So the next question is, can you please share tips on LEEE? So Bharat, would you like to answer that?
Yeah, sure. So since Srija already talked about what the interview process is like, I'll talk about the exam process. So for the LEEE exam, I would advise you to focus on. I think the topics of the examination are mentioned in the website syllabus. I would advise you to focus on that and try to get better at solving problems from those topics.
Thank you so much, Bharat. The next question is, do I have to stay on campus even if I'm from Hyderabad? I can just answer this, although I'm not from Hyderabad, but you do have to stay on campus. It is mandatory for everyone because I have quite a few batchmates who are from the city and they still stay on campus. I think that kind of encourages like working with your peers and helps like kind of really motivates you during assignments and when you have like multiple deadlines and you can work together, and it kind of encourages collaboration in that format. So staying on campus is really helpful and adds to the college experience overall as well.
Excuse me. So I want to add that there was a question regarding financial aid. I have pasted a link on the chat right in the question, and you can go through that regarding anything related to financial aid. College does have some sort of financial assistance that they provide to students, and you can look through that. The website is tripleit.ac.in/admissions/undergraduate/assistance. I've also pasted it. Sorry.
Thank you, Aditya and Shrija. The next question is, how is the startup culture at IIIT? What kind of incubation opportunities are provided? So Bharat or Aditya, would you like to talk about T-Hub?
Yeah, so I think we already covered this question. Like I said that, yeah, there is a body called eCell, Entrepreneurship Cell. They do programs wherein people come in and listen to you pitches, various forms of pitches, and give you some sort of funding and also incubate you. So these are like, we actually call VCs on campus. They listen to your products. There are people who help you with it. So like eCell also organizes events where people come in, listen to your ideas. If you qualify, they help you with your ideas to build a proper pitch that you can then present to VCs. They have a lot of connections. They do bring in VCs from outside that listen to your pitches and also to fund you if they like your idea. And I also mentioned that there is a CIE, which does similar things. Like you get a seed fund of 5 lakhs. I mean, it was 5 lakhs during my time there. And apart from that, they also offer various learning opportunities. As in, like they also help you with your ideas. They give you a desk space. They organize meetups with various other entrepreneurs and things like those. And for details regarding startups from Triple IT, I think you can go to the ESEL website, ESEL Triple IT website. I will paste it here, and that has information about the past startups from the college.
Thank you so much, Aditya. The next question is, what is the benefit of pursuing dual degree program? So the dual degree program, as it has been mentioned, is you get 2 degrees out of it. You get a BTech in computer science, and then you have a Master of Science or Research degree in one of your in a specialized field, right? So it can be computational linguistics, it can be a computer science degree, you can it can be in humanities and all of that, or you can also have degrees in electronics, like equivalent degrees for electronic fields as well. So the main benefit of the dual degree program, I think, is the thing that attracted me most to the program was you sort of get to experience and start really early on with research, and you get to explore those fields. So if you think it is interesting, or if you have any inclination towards it, you really get to start out early and look out for opportunities. Would any one of you want to add something to this?
I guess we can move to the next question then. The next question is for LEEE exam admission. Is completion of 4th semester also needed? Bharat, would you take that?
Yeah, as far as I remember, you need to have finished 4 semesters.
Thank you so much, Bharat. The next question is, are there exchange programs in IIITH? I'm not too sure about the answer, so I'll let Dhruvi take this.
I think this answer can be found in any of the doc links that Aditya has.
I am not sure, but yeah, I will paste the link anyways.
But as always, if you feel like your answer is not, you can always mail the email address that Aditya has posted in the chats.
Yeah, I would recommend emailing UGEadmissions@IIIT.ac.in, the email address that I mentioned previously, and they would give you the answer.
I would like to add along the similar lines, like as Aditya once mentioned that apart from just like, so there are opportunities for students to like go research in outside universities and like work there pursue their research work there. So that is an opportunity that people do get with when they start pursuing research, and so that is also something I would like to just add.
Okay. So the next question says, Shrija and Dhruvi, how did you convince your parents to send you to a college outside your hometown? My parents are not sure about sending me to a college far away. So even though Hyderabad is far away, you should know this is one of the few colleges which is in the city. Like we have also previously mentioned, it is in the high-tech city. We are located in Gachibowli, and it is one of the most it's the least isolated part of Hyderabad. So you have everything around you over here. You have restaurants, you have malls, and more than that, your parents might be concerned about safety. So like we have mentioned, there's only one entry, one exit, and more than that, there are always security guards placed at all gates. You have security guards at your hostels, you have security guards at the main gate. You also have security guards just roaming around the campus to make sure everything is all right. So there's never been a case where someone did not feel safe on our campus. And Yeah, so even when you go out, like I mentioned, you register that you're going out. So, and you register when you're coming in. So sometimes someone always knows where you are and where you're going. So that makes it very safe for a girl and even any student to be on our campus. Shrija, would you like to add more?
Yeah, so I did have the problem where my parents initially weren't like really happy about me living so far from home, given that I had not lived away from them ever in my life. But I think the first time they came to campus and they like talked to the warden and they saw how like there are security guards like everywhere. For the girls' hostel, it's like I meet 3 security guards while going out of my hostel at times. So it is really, really safe. And as again, there are committees to handle things if anything goes wrong. And because Hyderabad overall is a really beautiful, safe city, we are in the middle of the city. We have a police station like 5 minutes away from campus. So every like safety has never been a concern in my opinion. I've always felt safe. So you can just assure your parents that things are fine over here and it will be safe at the same. The next question is, how is the nature and surroundings all over the campus? Uh, I think we have been mentioning quite a few times that we are in the center of the city, but what I would like to also mention is the campus is like it's full of greenery, which is like one of my favorite things about the campus, which is you can there are evenings when you can just sit some like near the workspaces or stuff and you can enjoy the breeze while you're working, and the surroundings is really calm and really nice. You can hear peacocks at night and it is really beautiful. Do you want, Ruby, do you want to add something?
Yeah, I just want to say one thing. So at any time in the day or at night, you go out of your hostels, you'll find someone. So it's never quiet on campus. Like by quiet, I mean it's never, there's never not someone you'll find. So basically, like Aditya mentioned, you go to the canteen. The canteen is usually open till 2 a.m. or 3 a.m. Then there's another canteen which is again open till 1 a.m. There's one canteen which is only open during the day, and there's one canteen that is open till 4 a.m. So there's always someone at these canteens and there's always someone walking around the campus. And we, like I said, security guards are always there. I remember at 2 a.m. they take their rounds, and then again at 3 a.m. they go check the round. Did they go to the rounds? So we have a ground in case people are, we have a lot of cute dogs on campus as well. So in case people are ever afraid of the dogs, we have security guards always like a minute away. So it's never unsafe, and the nature and the surrounding is always fun and peaceful and calm. Yeah, so the next question is, whom should I contact if I have more questions about your gender diversity admissions? Again, that link that Aditya had sent, it's like a link that will answer all of your questions. Any question you have regarding admissions, about college, you can always ping them. But we also, Aditya, do you have some other email addresses that they could contact?
Yeah, there is a diversity email address that I'm pasting to this answer. They can just have a look.
Could you read out the email address, please?
The email address is admissions.diversity@iit.ac.in. Admissions.diversity@iit.ac.in. I will also paste them on the YouTube comments just so that everyone has it.
Thank you so much, Dhruvi and Aditya. The next question is, what kind of research facilities are provided for the cognitive science department? Any examples about major projects that are being carried out at neuroscience or cognitive science lab? So I have been looking a bit into cognitive science lab stuff recently. So I think I can send a link to Aditya, which he can again add for the same. But apart from that, so there are different research groups inside the lab. So there's like perception engineering, there's a music cognition lab, there's a stress and cognition lab, memory and neurodynamics, and each of these labs have different like researchers or professors taking over and working on different fields. and as I mentioned, like, because there are so many different groups, so it involves anything from music to stress and like how, the interrelation between all of these and brain and cognition and all of that. And so Aditya, can you just add the link? It's the
Yep. I'll do that.
yeah.
So we'll take a few more questions. So the next question is, what are the sports facilities like? So we have sports like football, basketball, tennis, badminton, all of this over here. So we do have compulsory PT in our first 2 years. So we have compulsory credits, and in that you have to take a compulsory yoga, you have to take compulsory martial arts, compulsory any of the sports. And the last one, you can choose whatever you like. You could do sport, or you could do yoga, you could do martial arts, and you could choose any of the other sports. We have all the equipments. The main department that handles all of the sports concerns is the PAC. We also have a sports secretary from our batch. It's usually from the 3rd year or the 4th year. Some student is elected, and there are also a lot of tournaments. We also have a club dedicated to sports, that is ASEC. So ASEC organizes a lot of events. So you have 8 a.m. you wake up and students are playing cricket on the ground. At night, you see it's from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. There are people who are playing football on the other ground. So there's always equipments available. And along with that, in addition to that, there's also a stadium right beside our college, that is the Kachiboli Stadium. We do get student discount over there. And there we have a swimming pool that you can utilize. There's also a basketball court and all the other facilities that you would expect from a sports stadium. Yeah, and you also, like I've mentioned, you also get student discount of triple IT when you apply there. Does anyone wants to add to that?
I just want to add, so we also have a very good gym, which, like, usually every day from 3:30 to around 8 you see people at the gym working out. And so that is also really good. You make a lot of friends there as well, which is something I've observed. But yeah, so we have really decent sports facilities, and because of the compulsory credits, you start like kind of during the first few years you start off like working out anyways, and that is really good for us as well. So the next question is, can you get industry jobs after dual degree or management degree? Aditya, again, I think you would be the best person to take this question.
Yeah, I think I already mentioned. So you can get an industry job. In fact, I am doing one right now. And yeah, you can go for a management degree also. Like, there is no restriction to what bachelor's you have for a management degree. So that is also like. And as I mentioned, you can sit for placements with the single degree students in your 5th year. So there is no restriction, whatever restriction is.
Thank you, Aditya and Shrija. The next question is, what is academic environment at Triple IT like? So academic environment. So you must have heard that there's a lot of workload and in Triple IT, but only in the first 2 years while you're working, you might feel that there's a lot of work that your other friends in different colleges are not doing. But that's the difference between Triple IT and other colleges. Triple IT teaches you courses in your first and second year that other students are probably taking up in their second or third year. So students in other engineering colleges are again brushing up their basics of physics, chemistry that they learned in 12th grade. But in Triple IT, you start with your CPRO courses, your DSA courses, which gives you a lot more time to practice before your placement season. So that is why you might feel that there's a little more academic pressure. But again, this is not a pressure you cannot handle, because since all of your friends are working, and as Shrija mentioned, most of the students who are currently living in Hyderabad, they themselves prefer to stay on campus. It is because when you're together working as a group, you do not feel the pressure, and there's always someone there to help you out. We also have TAs in every courses, and every prof, if you ever go to them, there's TARs as well. You go to the TAs, you go to the profs, they're always ready to help you out with any queries or difficulties that you have. So it's not something that you cannot handle, because all of us have handled, and all of us are in our 4th, 2nd, 5th, 6th year respectively. Does anyone else want to add something to that? Okay. The next question is, do UGEE and JEE main students study as the same cohort? Are batches semester schedules separate for students admitted through different modes? So by UGEE and JEE, you probably mean dual degree students and BTech students. So basically, these students, dual degree and BTech, like I've mentioned before, all of you have the same courses in your first and second years. By all of you, I mean a CHD student, CSD student, CLD and CND would have similar courses to CSE students, and an ECD student would have similar courses to ECE students. After your first year, there's only like a course or two difference between in your first and second year. Otherwise, all of your core courses are necessary, and all of and you have the same courses. It's just that dual degree students do have a few additional courses because they are into research and they need to know more before they start their research. So they have research specific courses on how to conduct research and also the interdisciplinary field that they are going to be working in. They also have courses in that. But by your third year, you start having electives where you can choose whatever you want. You can choose, none of the courses are something that you cannot take. Based on your program, you have to choose either a human science elective, either a science elective, or a linguistic elective, or any open elective. In those open electives, you can also choose independent studies like Aditya had mentioned. Does anyone want to add anything else to that? Okay. I think so we are done with all of the questions. Thank you so much for joining us. We hope we have answered all of your queries, and we wish you best of luck, and we hope to see you on our campus soon. Thank you.